I love when he talks about radio and DJs and stuff.
See, we had all of it on our audio because since Martin stole that.
Oh, I see.
Then we. So let me ask you. Are you on? What's the fifth? What's the fifth? What's the fifth? What is the fifth letter of the alphabet?
Was he laughing when you were doing that?
No.
Because it's impossible not to laugh. It's impossible, especially when you see it. Because I was trying not to laugh at John yesterday.
Really?
And me and Jackie were talking to him, and he went off on he had to tell me a story. And it took him like 15 minutes just to get out the first sentence, and we were laughing right in your face. I apologize, man. I try to keep a straight face.
I know. Jackie.
He got me going.
See, I thought you
Jackie
totally
smiles
lost.
as soon as it starts.
Yeah, I looked over at Jackie, and he was already into his laugh, and that was it.
I thought you totally lost inhibition. You just laugh when you feel like laughing.
I thought John was going to kill me yesterday. I thought my heart was going to stop. I was laughing.
We couldn't stop laughing. And then you know what happens? John's story really sucked.
Oh, yeah.
And
all of his stories do.
I know.
Well, look who's talking over there. Like, all my stories suck. All right.
But it really seemed like he was going somewhere. We were like enthralled.
Yeah, we were like, okay.
Yeah, but you guys freaked me out. What
were you talking about? I forgot.
I don't remember, but all I wanted to do was just walk out because it was just like, yeah, making me look like an idiot. That's a real problem being a stutterer, man.
It was a sex story.
Yeah, it was a sex story. Me and Jackie were talking about sex. So John walks in and starts telling. He's going to tell us this wild sex story. So he was like,
right, and it was building to a crescendo because all the stuttering. It was like we were so anticipating.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. It was supposed to be a 4-second little drop in.
Yeah, there's no such thing.
But he was like trying to tell us some wild sex, and all it was is he had sex with some girl.
Yeah.
I mean, Jackie were like, that's what we sat through 15 minutes.
Well, that's all you guys talk about. You guys sit there for an hour.
Yeah, but we have like cool stories. We have stories of rejection, stories of drunkenness, stories of LSD.
You have a story. No, you usually guys just rap about having sex with your wives.
And he's just trying to be a guy, Howard.
Yeah, but that wasn't much of a revelation.
Well, I was just trying to.
Jackie starts telling me his grandmother caught him masturbating in the snow. That's a revelation. Here's a guy opening up a little bit.
I was just trying to have a little 4-second male bonding session, and it turned into.
Me and Jackie sit in a room and try to torture each other with worse stuff to make ourselves look stupider and stupider. He walks in. Yeah, I had sex with a girl once.
Oh, listen,
you're missing the point, pal.
All right, well, it would have been just.
But my point was, I didn't mean to laugh in your face. It was just you were really going off. And Cousin Brucie kept a straight face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
But his life is a misery because half the time after the show, he'll be trying to tell you something that you really, I guess, need to know.
Yeah.
Some information. And you just walk out because he's stuttering.
Yeah, it's hard to get through.
His people said the only reason he did the interview was because he felt bad for the stuttering guy.
Oh, yeah? The stuttering guy. Well, why should he feel bad for you?
I guess it's...
You get more women than he does.
You feel bad for the bald guy.
John, what's the fifth... What's the fifth letter of the alphabet?
What's the fifth letter of the alphabet? A, B, C, D, E. A, B, C, D, E.
Here.
No, say it. Say it with me. E. No, E. No, E. You're hopeless.
Why do you pick E as your vowel? What do you have against A-I-O-U? Like, ooh, Cousin Bruce?
E has a much more round tone to it. It has a nice international feeling. And
how about ooh, Cousin Bruce?
No, ooh doesn't make it. Ooh is just too guttural sounding. E is sort of sensual. It has an eroticism about it. It's also very sweet, depending how you say it. Let me hear you say E. E. That's good.
Okay, let me ask you. Why do you call your wife cousin? And if so, isn't that incest?
No, not at all. I think cousin is a very friendly term. You know, when you were a kid, which was not so long ago for you, right? Tell me your name.
John.
Cousin Johnny, listen to me. When you were a kid, which was not so long ago, didn't you like to go to your cousin's house? Because didn't they always have the best toys and everything?
Yeah, but no. They always...
That's it. He sucks his wig glue. I know that's what it must be. He must take that wig glue and inhale it.
But, I mean, he actually had... How long was his answer to why did you pick E?
That was a good... minute and a half. 2 minutes.
How could you have something to say?
He has something to say on everything. There's a TV camera rolling.
My toys. Like my cousin Ricky broke all my toys on Christmas.
Listen,
I told you not to ad-lib.
I wasn't. It was true.
Never. I called her sweetheart.
I wasn't. It was true. No, I told you not to ad-lib.
Ad-lib does not mean lie.
No, but he was saying no. I was telling the truth. Okay, so let me ask you.
There you go.
What do you call your real cousins?
Want to call my real cousin?
Cousin?
I call Howard. I call cousin Howard. Cousin Howard.
Oh, really?
My cousin Howard's my cousin Howard.
You don't think Howard's like changed the way radio is? I mean, you don't think he's like a total innovator?
Oh, not at all. I think Howard is very talented, but he's certainly not an innovator. This has been done many, many times, and I just don't like.
This has been done. What's been done many, many times?
Then why is everybody objecting so much?
Yeah. Why all of a sudden, if this has been done many, many times, why am I in trouble? This has been done many, many times. What a dick he is. You can't, that's why I hate him. He just can't come out and say it. This has been done. And you know what he's referring to, like Imus or something? And we know what Imus was doing. I'm sorry, I have tapes of what Imus was doing. It was nothing. He would get on the phone with someone and say, "What's your favorite radio station?"
How's your Donkey Kong?
Yeah. This has been done many, many times. Yeah. How come when I did it, then I got into so much trouble? It's been done many, many times. What a dick he is. I hate all the old guys in radio. I just hate them. They all give themselves awards and try to pretend like they're doing something. Dicks.
Bad tastes.
Yeah,
like what we're doing with this interview. Come on now.
This has all been done.
Doing...
Thanks for dismissing what I do for a living as having been done a million times. When you know it's not true.
On the other hand, he was great.
Yeah. Oh, what he did was totally innovative.
He's a legend.
He called himself Cousin. Like
he picked the letter.
Yeah, like every DJ didn't have a stupid name. You know who started all that stuff? Arnie Woo Woo Ginsburg. Arnie Woo Woo. That's the man. He had wacky noise like ee. Cousin Brucie. What a schlep. That wig. Take off that toupee. Be like Sean Connery. Show us your bald head. Be like Sinead O'Connor. Cousin Brucie started. Sinead O'Connor been done many times. I look like her when I was a young man. All right, we'll take a break and listen to more Cousin Brucie.
Hi. It's the best of Howard Stern on 106 WJFK FM Manassas, Washington, and 1300 AM WJFK Baltimore.
Conclusion of the interview with Stuttering John and Cousin Brucie.
For those of you listening in Washington and Philly, Cousin Brucie is like a guy who, like, remember when, like, in 1968 or so, Top 40 radio was sort of happening on AM radio? Well, that's when he was happening. And then he dropped out of sight. Until recently, when Top 40 radio made a comeback. He's like, I'm trying to think of somebody in Philly who you can compare him to. There's got to be a guy like Cousin Brucie in Philadelphia or in Washington. What was the AM station in Washington that was big? Top 40 AM radio station. I forget all that stuff.
Yes.
We used to know that. Yeah, we were there.
I keep wanting to say WTOP.
Something like that. Yeah. It could have been WTOP, and then they became all news.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those. So he's one of those guys who thinks now he's like some kind of expert on radio because he was on the radio 30 years ago.
Yeah, when radio changed, he couldn't even adapt.
Right.
He was so good.
But yeah, exactly. He disappeared.
But he's certainly not an innovator. This has been done many times, and I just don't like bad taste.
Yeah,
like what we're doing with this interview. Come on,
he's getting big ratings, though. You must admit.
Oh, of course he will. Of course he will. As I said, he's very talented. No, never have.
Okay, let me ask you.
Of course he'll get big ratings.
There's no logic. People aren't using logic anymore.
No.
He's going to get ratings because he's very talented, but he's not an innovator, and what he does is no good.
Right. So how can you be? I wouldn't have any talent. Forget it. It's hard to explain, but he's mystical because you never know quite what he's doing. That Cousin Brucie.
He's like the Dalai Lama.
He is. His logic needs to be interpreted.
Are you a Jew?
Pardon me?
Are you a Jew?
Yes, I am very Jewish.
Really?
Yes, I am. Very.
Do you smoke pot?
Huh? I did years ago when we all did.
Yeah, anymore?
Well, nah,
we all
that's very tired, and I didn't like it anymore. As you mature, you don't want it anymore. I don't need it. You know what I get high on? Doing things like this.
Chuck E. Cheese.
I did it when we all did.
Mm-hmm. I think we're all still doing it. According to the
No, but I
statistics
love that.
read.
Well, everybody else was doing it.
Yeah. I'm not doing it anymore, but I was doing it when we all were doing it.
When Cousin Brucie was doing it.
Yeah, when Cousin Brucie was doing it. He said that's what you were supposed to do. You know what I get high on now? Wig glue. Wig glue. I put that glue on my wig and then I sniff it all day.
Talking to weirdos like you know, and Howard appearing on these shows, I enjoy it very much. And that's not a put down. You're a cousin weirdo, so it's all right.
Do you think that retarded people should be allowed to get married and have kids?
I think that's terrible. See, that's bad taste.
Yeah, but you don't think that...
Why is that?
Retarded people getting married is bad taste. Exactly, you're right.
You see, he goes, oh, I think that's terrible. Now, why is that terrible? You're asking the guy a serious opinion on something. It's an issue that's been dealt with in the newspapers, on television, in the news.
His answer's in bad taste.
Yeah, because you know what? Because yeah, exactly. His answer is, yeah, of course retards shouldn't get married and have kids. Because it's going to keep it up. We have more retards in the world. Like Cousin Brucie. You know, my own parents were retarded.
I was going to say, maybe you insulted his parents.
I don't know. I'm sure his parents were of normal intelligence. But, I mean, why is that an insulting question? Because you're asking Cousin Brucie a serious question when he's a clown?
Because nobody on the radio is supposed to tell the truth about anything.
I mean, his answer should have been just, yes, we should.
It's all right.
Do you think that retarded people should be allowed to get married and have kids?
I think that's terrible. See, that's bad taste.
Yeah, but you don't think that... Do you think
No, I think that's very bad taste. I think that's a very bad taste question. See, that's what I don't like. See, that's just if you get...
No, I'm just curious.
No, listen, let me just finish. That's a very bad thing. I think people are people, and if they should get married and have children, I think that is fine.
Yes, that's
and
simple.
I think if anyone has a medical problem, that's up to their doctor, and if anybody has a psychological problem, that's another problem. But as far as asking... See, that's what I'm...
So can people with psychological problems have children?
Well, that's another problem.
That's a different problem.
That requires another question.
For a guy who didn't like the question, he's answering it. He's answering it with the same logic that he answers all the other questions.
These are the things about you that bother him.
What?
Questions like these.
Talking about retarded people.
Yeah, this is in poor taste.
Talking about real stuff.
Yeah, it bothers him.
This is in poor taste, according to Cousin
I don't think so. I think it's an issue that everyone has discussed this issue. You see, I was at Disneyland, right? You see more retarded people with their retarded wives walking around with retarded kids.
Are you sure they're retarded, though?
I don't know. Maybe it's Walt Disney. They defrosted him and the experiment went mad. But
I see all those people. I never realized all of them were retarded.
Yeah, 90% of the people who are at Disneyland are retarded. So the thing is, why go to the Hawaii Pavilion? Just go to Hawaii if you're going to spend the money. So people go, it's just like being in Hawaii. Although I've never been there. I went to Disneyland, and I'm online, and I look over, and I see, like, this retarded guy. He's obviously retarded. He was Down syndrome, and his wife was Down syndrome, and his kids were Down syndrome. And you say to yourself, that's an interesting, moral, ethical...
Question.
Yeah, question of our times.
But, I think it's good because at least the children look like they belong to the family.
Right. At least
Many times Down syndrome children look like they've been adopted.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. The thing is that's a perfectly legitimate question. And then you sit and you go, well, wait a second. Of course anyone should be allowed to have children, but what if somebody is so childlike they can't even raise their own children? It's a legitimate question. I mean, the legitimate question is, too, can we give them their own island? Let them all go live,
Give them the Hawaiian Pavilion.
Yeah, let them have their own... Yeah, let them live in the Hawaiian Pavilion at the Disneyland. Let them live at Universal.
That is bad taste.
I don't know. See, I don't know.
It is.
I'm asking you,
I
Cousin Brucie.
know you work for Howard, so you wouldn't know.
We could drop food by helicopter.
Oh, geez.
It is.
I'm asking you, Cousin Brucie.
I know you work for Howard, so you wouldn't know, right? You're working for Howard, so you don't know about bad taste. You're in the thing. And I'm just putting you on now.
Okay, let me ask you: who do you think got hit in the chin swim wall balls? Yogi Berra or Rock Hudson?
Say this again.
Who do you think got hit in the chin swim wall balls? Yogi Berra or Rock Hudson?
I don't know. I don't know either one of them.
You never heard of
know
Rock?
these people. No, if they don't have a record, I don't know who they are. I mean, I'm just, I'm a disc jockey. I'm a personality.
He doesn't know who Yogi Berra is?
Rock Hudson. He did movies, right? He was a very fine actor, very good-looking guy, and unfortunately passed away from a terrible thing. I don't know the question. I don't understand. It's not real. I'm not relating to this. See, that's what I mean. I'm not relating to. It's a problem. I have
All right,
not
that's
related
legitimate.
to this.
You're not relating to it.
Well, you don't understand the
It's a
question.
problem.
No, I don't understand the questions. I don't understand Howard. I like him, but he's a nice guy. Howard, did Howard tell you we went on a boat? Listen, did Howard tell you we went sailing together on a boat called the Natchez? We were on the Mississippi. We had a very nice evening.
Really?
Yeah.
No, excuse me, Cousin Brucie. Howard remembers it differently. Howard and a company called DIR went to a big expense to throw a party for some of the people, some radio stations who were running my syndicated show. Cousin Brucie leached his way onto the boat without anybody's knowledge. Just walked on, ate food, and tried to glom our syndicated radio stations off
his
us.
own show.
Yeah.
To the syndicate.
Yeah.
To these radio
We spent a ton of money to collect a bunch of people together to thank them for running the radio show and our advertisers. And Cousin Brucie glommed his way onto the boat and annoyed everyone the whole night.
A quota?
A quota?
Yeah.
On what?
Well, you know, like 50 cents.
Oh, he doesn't like it. You have a quota.
Oh, that's the best reaction yet.
All these years in the business, I'm subjected to this.
Okay, listen, Steve. Thanks a lot.
Now, you're not going to use any of this.
Oh, yeah, it was taped to broadcast.
Well, you can't tape it because I didn't sign anything. Don't use it, Howard. I'm warning you.
Come on, it's fine. I thought you did really well. Seriously.
Thank you very much.
I mean, out of all the
Give me a
interviews, no, seriously. Out of all the ones I've done, I think you handled it. I think that you should be proud of this and not be. You know, this is great. Seriously. I mean, some people get mad, but you were real good, so I wouldn't really worry about it. It's fine.
Worry?
No, I don't know why you should worry anyway. This is actually a good interview.
Well, I think it's very nice. It's very. You're very challenging.
Thanks.
And I wanted to meet you. I heard about you.
Oh, did you?
I heard you work with Howard, right?
Yeah.
And you really are a very nice guy. So all those rumors about you, like my rumors, are bad. And Howard's rumors are bad, too, because he's a very nice guy. He's very quiet and very sweet when you get him off the microphone. And like he said to me, put me to a microphone, I get, like that.
Well, I thought you did well.
Well, thank you very much. A pleasure to be here with you.
Okay.
I got to do it. Can I deliver my speech now?
Yeah, well, if you get to the camera if you want.
Okay, no.
He made a speech?
They wouldn't understand. They wouldn't.
Gee, I wish you'd taped a speech.
See, I was just trying to say it because he started getting worried about getting it on, you know, so I tried to...
Oh, you were trying to calm him down.
Yeah.
He's worried. Tell him not to worry so much.
Yeah, he gave a speech to the secretaries.
Yeah. Sorry, we missed that. Cousin Brucie was weird when I met him on that boat, so we had to pose for a picture. That's the one where he wrapped his hands around my neck and started squeezing it.
Yeah.
And I was like, just get away from me.
But did you really say to him, if you put me near a microphone, I get crazy?
Yeah, sure. What it was is that he says I'm quiet and sweet. He came near me and started rattling off like he does. You know, we should really get together sometime because and I just walked away. I mean, I just said, hey, nice to meet you. You know, shook his hand, and that was it. And that was it. That was it. That was the whole meeting. And a lot of people were annoyed with him for being on the boat. He wasn't supposed to be there. We got to take a break. We'll be right back.
Well,
all right.
what a group.
Now, what am I talking about?
The Yoko Ono.
Yoko Ono.
Press conference.
And Mr. Melendez, if I was you, I'd take Spanish lessons and start rowing back to Puerto Rico, where nobody knows you.
Hopefully your children won't join.
He speaks Spanish. What are you talking about?
Okay. So anyway, the UN. All right. So John did something really cool. He went over to the UN to this big press conference.
Very weird.
And Scott Muni's there. This is his big time of year, Scott Muni, where he can act like he's Yoko's friend. Yoko acknowledges that she is his friend.
Yep. Scott was in front of the whole thing. And
Right. Yeah, Scott Muni's big night on the town. So she answered your question, but Muni was the one having a puppy, right?
Well, yeah, well, what happened? You want me to tell you
Yeah.
Well, see, what happened was some of the security guards had recognized me, and when I went over to ask the question, they came over to me and said, John, you can't ask any questions. So I just screamed it out, right when they said that, with like three big bodyguards around me. And she said, so he asked the question, and then as I was getting physically removed from the building, she was answering me.
I might not have asked that one first, but okay, that's cool.
That was the first one.
Was
you
it?
put, yeah.
All right. In my haste,
Actually, that was the most milder of the questions.
The most milder?
That was the most mild out of the questions because the other ones was like, did John ever come home smelling like May Pang? And
no, I thought the other one was kind of cool. The one about what were the questions? There was
You
one
had the list yesterday.
I made copies. I gave one to Freddie, one to Gary.
Well, it doesn't do us any good.
I just figured you guys had them, man.
All right, let me see.
Well, I lost my copy in the fracas. A guy came out afterwards, and we missed it. I have it on. A guy came out, big, huge guy. This guy he kind of looked like a mongoloid. He came out. He comes out and starts pushing me and telling me he's gonna break my face and break the camera. Totally freaked out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but like, you know, so I missed that on another medium. But actually, yeah, people were freaked out. It was like 50-50. Like the morning zoo guys walked past
what was
me.
this all about? You said the morning zoo
Yeah, they
came
came by and called me, expletives.
Expletives. I think the English language has been this badly mangled.
I knew that was wrong, but I had to say it.
Right, I understand.
But they,
Tom, you gotta pay him. You gotta pay him. You gotta pay the guy. Come on. How much fun can you have?
But yeah, they would call me, jerks. And then, so what we have on one tape is when these other guys started.
See, the question I would have gone with first.
Which one? You tell me which one was better.
Do you have any of John's used handkerchiefs for sale?
Okay. But see, that would have been the only one I would have got off. I was getting, in other words, they were already escorting me. I figured I'd go for the gusto.
So what is the question that you do ask?
I said, how come people, good people like John Lennon have to die when, meanwhile Scott Muni lives?
And then what did Muni do?
Well, see, I told you what happened with that, but I wish we could have had that. But I heard people told me that Scott Muni had had a heart attack. He was freaking out.
Well, good. He deserves one.
Totally freaking out.
He deserves one because it's a legitimate question.
Yeah, I feel strongly that I'm glad I asked that question. I think Scott Muni.
This is one of these guys who sets himself up like he helps people and stuff in rock and roll. All he does is hurt them.
Well, John has a personal vendetta against Scott Muni.
Doesn't allow Bob Geldof to go on shows because he comes on my show. What has he got to do with my show? Worry about your own show, you lummox. Big dummy.
I think he snubbed Josie Sang.
No,
he didn't
snub
Josie Sang, but he's... he won't, like a lot of bands that we have on the other
No, you got to understand something. It is his prerogative whether to put a band. I could care less what bands he puts on there and what he doesn't put on there. Personally, I don't care. I don't think it helps the band all that much to be on his show when it's the same question over and over again. When will you be on tour? That's not the point. The point is, when I have a guest on my show, I don't need some jealous old load like him calling every record company in a jealous rage.
That's what I'm saying, man.
That's what you're saying?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like Ginger Baker and Bob Geldof. I mean, that was ridiculous.
Right. Ginger Baker needs all the help he can get. Doesn't need some old load who doesn't have to make his living in the recording industry. Doesn't need some old man telling him he can't go out and get publicity. How dare you? I'll ruin anything you do, you fat load.
That's what John's saying, Hal.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Well, let me say it then, because I'm doing a hell of a better job.
I heard the question. He sunk his head in his hands.
Good, because he deserves every embarrassing moment of it. Good job. You do deserve money. I will talk to Tom.
Thank you. Thank you very much, boss. Is it fair that guys like John Lennon die while Scott Muni lives?
Do we have the next question, please?
Well, what happened? We can't hear the answer?
Scotty, I don't know. Don't ask me, man. It was.
Maybe it's coming up.
No. Okay.
She answered it, right?
Yeah, she answered it.
Where is that?
Is it on the tape?
It's on the tape. I mean, it's low, I'm sure. But maybe not. In fact, maybe the
Scott, what happened?
We don't have the answer.
Yeah, maybe it got pulled out.
Somebody pulled the mic out of the machine.
Yeah, those guys.
Oh.
Those guys, I'm sorry. As those guys were, lifting me away.
Oh, it's understandable.
They totally grabbed stuff.
Good nerve.
But I'll tell you what she said, if you want me to. She said, well, I love Scott Muni, and I love everybody here. And,
see, she can handle it.
How are you?
Woman's...
Stuttering John?
Yeah,
what is this?
Okay.
Oh, this is one of the security guys?
This is when the guys started hassling me and arguing with me.
Zookeeper guy?
Just people up the street started coming up. I thought I was going to get slugged, man. People were really freaked out.
Hey, why?
Howard, thanks. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Howard Stern make you say that, or
who's this guy?
Disrespectful to John.
Who said Howard Stern make you say that?
ABC. ABC came up and started asking me about it, and started saying,
Howard Stern made him say that. What do you think of that? What are you going to do about ABC? Bunch of phonies. Why don't you get another buckwheat imposter on? Why don't you check that out?
Everybody walked by, every other person was calling me a jerk, and
yeah, real jerk. You're a real jerk. Sit there with that phony baloney press conference over at the United Nations where Yoko She don't tell you about all the merchandise. She telling John's phone books. Don't tell me about this. And that creep Muni from over at NEW, what are they doing? They run down to Strawberry Fields, start handing out NEW painters hats so they can get free publicity out of John's death. Don't tell me who's weird. I hear ABC had buckwheat. Now they got John Lennon on live tonight. They found him. They found him.
He's a bagger where?
Yeah.
He's bagging groceries somewhere else.
You can all drop dead.
Drop dead.
Ooh, all right.
Now, that wasn't planned.
No. Ooh, that was John.
Eerie. A miracle.
It was like John said it.
You know, it's interesting because everybody was talking about how irreverent John was and how revolutionary they were, you know, doing the bed-ins and the this and the that.
Yeah.
No sense of humor now.
Yeah. You know what? We were talking to David Peel in the park, the guy who used to hang out with John Lennon in Elephant's Memory. And he was saying that if John was alive, he's convinced that he'd probably be a guest on this show every day.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Of course, he loves this stuff. That's serious. Like
Exactly.
Scott Muni. Scott Muni, he wouldn't give Scott Muni the time of day.
Or even all these other people who are calling you names, John.
Yeah.
They don't understand John Lennon.
We do.
No, I think John would have dug it, man. Yeah.
Of course he would have. Would have dug the buckwheat interview on ABC as well.
It wasn't disrespectful to John. I love John Lennon. Scott Muni's an asshole. Scott Muni banned people like Bob Geldof off his radio, off the whole Westinghouse network. The whole. Seriously, he did.
Uh-oh, John.
He did.
It's still wrong saying that.
That Scott Muni's an asshole.
No, you said it's unfair that someone like John Lennon lives.
Who's this guy?
These are just people off the street.
How do they know you? I mean, they weren't into you.
Yeah,
right?
they have to say what? It was open to the public.
Oh, so you arguing? What are you arguing with them for?
Because I thought they were going to pop me. People coming over to me.
You thought they were going to pop you, so you're talking to them?
No, people are coming by, you know. It was,
Oh, tell them to shut up.
would you believe that after this happened, there was more people outside around me and this guy yelling at
Of
me?
course, they were bored to death in there. Some tribute to John. Scott, can you imagine? The best they could come up with is that fossil Scott Muni? For someone as great as John Lennon? A great songwriter?
Well, isn't he the fifth Beatle?
Yeah.
Now that Murray the K's gone.
Yeah. And now their cousin Brucie's doing, what are those commercials? Rickles?
No, the John Lennon dies while Scott Muni lives. That's not a bad question in my book.
That's not putting down Scott Muni. Like, just
That's right, because Scott Muni bans.
good for me he's dead.
You know how many bands he censors that aren't allowed on his radio station? You know how many?
That's not the issue.
I know, but these guys are just saying how Scott Muni's a great guy, and I shouldn't have said that because...
What are you talking to people for? I told you not to talk to anyone unless I write it down for you.
It might be good in another medium.
Well, good. We'll see that. We'll see how good it is. He's thinking all kinds of mediums.
Over 20, 30 bands are not allowed to even make it in New York,
Still a
make
reason
it in
why the guy
Washington.
should be dead, man.
Oh, that's just a joke.
I know I was joking, but it was real serious.
How you doing, Aqualung?
Hey, man, they banned
Aqualung's a group
from other places, you know.
No, but Scott Muni banned Bob Geldof, my friend. Bob Geldof, a man who did everything for peace. Scott Muni banned him from the radio. Would you believe that? After you learn these things about Scott Muni, then you should say something. Because that's the truth. Scott Muni's an
I'm just curious what network you're from or what do you work for? Just,
WXRK.
Oh, you work
Scott Muni, we're having a legal battle right now with WNEW because they won't let people come on our station to promote Bob Geldof's concert. They called him and said that if he promotes anything on our station, he'll be banned from the whole
you're
West
frightening. You really are frightening. And you're arguing with, you're just arguing with people.
No, ABC.
Oh, ABC.
Yeah, ABC guy was asking, saying, how could you do it, man?
How could you do what? How could you ask a question?
You do that? Everyone was making me feel bad, man.
Ask her how she could sell his phone books and package them for $250,000.
And when you finish your job, go home.
Yeah, just go home. You did your job. Get out of there.
Dude, you might be saying that now, but we'll see what you're saying, on Saturday.
All right. What are we talking about? Oh,
well,
let me play you something I just found.
What?
You wanted to hear what Yoko said to John's question?
Okay, you got that?
Yeah, I got it over the phone, believe it or not. I could set this up for you in 2 seconds. Ready?
Okay, go ahead.
Is it fair that guys like John Lennon die while Scott Muni lives?
Do we have the next question, please?
Guys like John Lennon die while Scott Muni lives?
Do we have the next question, please?
Well, I think Scott Muni is a lovely person, and so are you all. And I think that I think that we have a place in the world, and also that we have each of us have a role to play. Thank you.
Right. Nice way to handle it. She's too funny. There it is.
That's pretty good. She had a good answer.
Yeah.
Everybody calm down.
She thought it was funny.
Yeah, she was a sad day for her, and she got a little laugh out of it.
You're talking about a woman who was whacked out of her mind on heroin with John Lennon. You're not talking to a head of state.
That's not Indira Gandhi, you guys.
Yeah. Talking to a woman who hangs imaginary grapefruits from the ceiling and calls it art.
She had people pounding nails into a wall.
Yeah. It's a rich foreign groupie you're talking to. It is not the Pope. Can we all calm down with making everyone a deity?
Next question, please.
There's a guy, yeah. Oh, next question, please, please. That's so irreverent. This is a woman who's irreverent. You know, it's funny. Gary was talking to some guy in the park at the Strawberry Fields thing. And this guy's going, well, Yoko, I'll show it to you later. Yoko, she was walking over there. And then she moved suddenly down there. And even her bodyguards. It was almost like he was talking about the Pope or Jesus and the apostles. The bodyguards being the apostles. And the Pope and one or Jesus Pope Yoko running through the park and tracing her every move, and then she laughed to the crowd over there. I mean, come on.
That was great. It was really wonderful.
What a woman who spread her legs for John. Spread them for a married man. Wrecked the family.
She
So
was
true.
married to somebody else. She was wrecking all kinds of families.
Yeah, and she never even saw her own daughter, Kyoko.
Wrote her in People magazine.
I know too much useless information. I know Yoko's daughter's name, Kyoko.
You're a dope.
All right, listen, we'll be back right up. Good job, John.
Thanks.
Sort of.
Thank you very
All
much.
right. And you know what? I even have tapes of the actual conference, Yoko's speech, we could actually listen to again if you want.
Yeah, and I have a few of her comments that
Oh,
after
good.
John got thrown out, she made.
I think I've created a monster here. All right, we'll be back right after these words.